I'm Cheyenne, and this is my YouTube channel where I talk about my health journey and hope to inspire others to advocate for themselves and their health. Today I will be going over my personal idiopathic intracranial hypertension story and how I got diagnosed with that. Idiopathic intracranial hypertension, or IIH, is a condition where the pressure inside the skull increases for no obvious reason. So basically my body produces too much spinal fluid inside my skull and inside my spine. I started experiencing my symptoms in high school, probably around freshman year, but since I had already had a chronic migraine diagnosis, we basically just brushed it off as that. Around 2020 to 2021, I started to experience a lot of pressure inside my head and inside my neck to where it started to feel like I was suffocating when I would lay down, and I started to get a bit concerned about it, but I kind of just thought that I was ill with something at the time. I ended up deciding to see my doctor because I started to get concerned about the constant pulsing in my ears and also about the vision loss when I would stand up. My doctor suspected IIH and decided to start me on the medication acetazolamide just to see if that would improve my symptoms at first, but she also scheduled me for a lumbar puncture. When I first got my lumbar puncture, the reading was 10 cm, which is completely average and was not high enough to diagnose me with IIH at the time. So I was taken off the acetazolamide and we were going to monitor my symptoms. My symptoms ended up getting much worse, so they ended up sending me in for a second lumbar puncture, and this time my reading came back as 25 cm, so they drained out 12 milliliters of spinal fluid, and basically almost immediately all of my symptoms were alleviated, and I felt so much better. Upon being allowed to stand up from the second lumbar puncture, I noticed that there was no pressure in my head and I actually didn't lose my vision, which was an amazing improvement. Although my reading was still on the lower end, they diagnosed me based off of my improvement of symptoms. I was put back on acetazolamide, but at a much lower dose, and I'm not really sure why they chose to do that, but they started me out originally at 500 milligrams in the morning and at night, but now they have me on 250 milligrams in the morning and 500 milligrams at night. Since this lower dose is not working, I have an appointment to see if we can up the dose, but I was also just diagnosed with POTS, and since I have been treating my POTS, my IIH symptoms have been getting worse because they have conflicting treatment options. So at that next appointment, I'm not entirely sure if we are going to up the medication or if my doctor is going to opt for the shunt surgery, which is a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm trying not to worry too much at the moment. My personal symptoms with IIH include but aren't limited to headaches and migraines, including ice pick migraines and brain zaps, which just kind of feel like someone's stabbed me in the side of the head. It's very strange. I also get pulsatile tinnitus, where I can hear my heartbeat in my ears basically all the time. When I have high pressure days, I can feel the pressure in my skull and behind my face, especially behind my nose, and sometimes I can even feel it all the way down into my neck. I also get presyncope a lot when I stand up, which means that I have vision loss and dizziness and sometimes even hearing loss, and I almost pass out sometimes. Also, on high pressure days, when the pressure gets too high, I can experience a flare-up of my occipital neuralgia, which then gives me a different type of migraine. I also experience intense brain fog and memory issues. I also have balance problems, so some days I will use a cane and some days I will opt for my wheelchair. Overall, it took me about 10 years to get diagnosed with this condition, and it was a very long and strenuous journey because my doctors couldn't really find out what was wrong with me for a very long time. Hey, editing me here just to add in a little information that I forgot the first time. A massive part of the problem for them not being able to find out what was wrong with me was because at the beginning they told me that I just needed to lose 20 pounds and then the condition would resolve itself. I have now lost 70 plus pounds and am still struggling with this condition daily. It did not cure my condition. It is not a cure for this condition. And it really sucks that the medical system sees weight loss as one of the main cures for this condition when it is not a guaranteed cure. Like, so many women are already gaslit enough about their weight that this doesn't need to be another one of them. This shouldn't be another one of them. They should have listened a lot sooner and started treating it a lot sooner than trying to just make me lose the weight and assume that it would be a cure. So if you guys have any questions about my condition or anything, just comment them down below and I would be happy to answer anything you guys want to ask. I appreciate you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like or a subscribe, and I would appreciate it so much. Thank you. Okay, I think that's a good enough video.